Hey everybody, it's another edition of Push to Talk here. Hey everybody, it's another edition of Push to Talk. That's great. You love that? Because I was watching the Meta Show and I forgot to unmute. Sorry about that. So hey, welcome to another edition of Push to Talk with your requisite sound issues. By the way, we are playing with sound issues today. So if we're too low, just let me know. We're trying to moderate everybody the same level. But hey, it is May 13th, 1 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Saturday, May 13th. Push Talk episode 4,862. It's also a start date if you do your calculators.
I never understood how they work out star dates, because apparently it was actually like legitimately a thing, right?
Yeah.
Just Google Julian time.
By the way,
Well, there we go then.
Casualties from last night. So Dirk and Bargos are casualties from last night. What happened last night?
No. Bard is just being a lazy bastard, and Dirk maybe because Dirk was still around and still talking when I went to bed, and I went to bed
he did say in
he
the
said he'll be here
journal that he will be here 15 minutes after.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, okay. In that case,
we're just giving shit.
That's fair.
By the way, just wanted to let everybody know. Also, just one other piece of technical detail information. We are coming to you live from the Ashburn, Virginia Data Center 3. Just in case you're wondering how we're routed through, just throwing it out there. Because we know
our local chat that you could call Twitch chat is actually working.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Yeah. So what?
Foreshadowing.
I'll
foreshadowing. Yeah, it'll go down in 5 minutes. Don't worry.
Amazingly enough, though, there's no dawn, so we can skip the dawn rule. And
she was here. She was just
here.
Yeah,
she was here. Then she fucked off.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering to myself, like.
So yeah, we got to say your host for today.
It's so.
Dawn was supposed to be here. Dirk was supposed to be here. I don't know where they are. But you got McLeod, Sothersill, and Eric, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
So all these other people are supposed to be here. Horrendous, bad. He's just a bad friend. He's terrible.
He's trying to guilt trip people into it.
Maybe a little bit.
A tiny little bit. But we can actually talk about. I guess we can actually talk about EVE Online right off the bat. Really?
We can. Let's dive in, baby.
I mean,
do we want to though?
Do we want to? Do we want to though?
By the way,
I mean we can because we do have like.
I don't have my big headset on. Do you guys see that? I don't have my big headset.
Oh yeah. On. Are you using like earphones?
Yeah, I got a little ear.
You got a little in-ear action.
So here's the challenge, right? So after the show, I go out and do something or whatever. If I don't look at my hair, I had this huge indent from the headphones, and plus they were looking wonky. I mean, they're a couple years old. They're probably 3 years old. Yeah. I dropped them on the floor and they got dented or something. I don't know. They just look wonky. So I spent $8,000 on earbuds.
We'll see. Jesus Christ, dude!
It wasn't $8,000.
Well,
I was about to say, fucking hell.
By the way, these aren't. They're not cheap earbuds. They're good earbuds. They're noise canceling.
No. Yeah.
But the challenge that I have with them is they can only sync to one device at a time, and I think for the quality earbuds these are.
For not $8,000, they should sync to multiple things. I said for not $8,000, they should be able to sync.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yes, Hurricane. In local. Yes, local chat died. I think local chat died like yesterday. It was yesterday, right? Like yesterday /
It's been having issues
repeatedly
for a bit longer, but yeah, like yesterday or the day before, they tried to fix it and made everything worse.
Classic CCP, right? Classic.
Then they
CCP.
started posting like supposed fixes that people could try, and none of them seemed to help.
Oh God. Yeah, so that's been happening, which is, just fantastic.
Which isn't like we've been there before, right? It's not
Yeah,
the
we have
first
been
time
here
local
before.
breaks.
Like, and one of the main kind of reasons why it broke last time was because it was they were refactoring it into, they were refactoring local into being away from the main server farm, right? It was going to basically
Oh no,
be
that
in the
wasn't
cloud.
the last time it broke.
That wasn't the last time it broke. Okay,
Yeah,
so I must have
broke
missed the last
again
time.
after that. So
Oh, okay. Well, I know that there was a lot of intermittent issues after they moved it off and into the cloud services, right?
yeah,
So there was a lot of issues that, carried on for months, right?
and as
But
far as I'm aware, it's not just local that's broken. It's like all
Fleet, I saw
chat
Fleet
channels have
chat, I saw Fleet chat channels having issues,
yeah, pretty much
and all that kind of
all
stuff.
channels can have
Yeah.
issues.
Any text chat channel, basically, right?
Yes.
Wow. So one of those classic kind of things, and it is, if you were relying on coordination inside of using in-game chat channels, then yeah, rip. And to be fair, it was, well, actually not to be fair, and to beat a dead horse yet some more, wasn't it sort of like support costs and that sort of thing, and capabilities of the system as being some of the main reasons why they removed in-game voice as well?
Well, no one was using it.
Yeah, I get nobody was using it, and there's an understandable reason, why people weren't using it, because if the game crashes, then your voice channel goes as well, which really sucks.
Yeah, and you think about that too, right?
Yeah.
Think about services that, core competencies, right? Is what we call that, right?
Mm.
And, a voice channel shouldn't be a core competency of a gaming company, right? There's too many other free ways to deal with it.
Yeah, but then
and
the
established
control
ways to do it,
there's
right?
there's established ways of doing it. There's freer ways of doing it that doesn't rely on your specific infrastructure that you have to pay for.
Right.
But then again, you're also giving away agency at the same time. You don't have ultimate control over those systems.
Yeah, I understand
You know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah, but again,
Like if you decided to just completely remove your forums and put it onto Discord, if you do that, then if Discord has an issue, or if Discord decides to remove a feature because they don't feel like it's worthwhile for the resources allocated for it, then you have an issue, because you can't just be like, wait, hang on, because you don't control the platform.
Absolutely.
You mean remove your forums and move all communication to Reddit?
But that's also a way of doing it as well.
Yeah, but
Remove
there's
forums
again,
and pretend that you're going to be moving somewhere else, but in actual fact, everybody just moves their conversations to Reddit.
yeah, but understand too, right? Yeah, I mean, internal forums can be a third-party tool that you don't have to manage and own, right? And deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about writing the code, right?
Okay.
It just becomes easier, core competency is the game. Right?
Yeah.
Don't worry about managing VoIP servers and things like that and all that crap. Just easier. Certain things, yeah. You can have a forums.
See, the funny thing is, when CCP played around with the idea of local being not a 100% accurate intel tool. It's funny because like I know because I've been in those conversations on forums and stuff like that on the forums. Like some of the OG kind of threads are talking about local and whether it's good, whether it's not, how would people go about sort of changing it if they wanted to, and what would be the good and bad points of it and stuff. And like I know that prior to the original blackout, right, that we heard as a player base that CCP were playing and toying with the idea of local not always being a completely reliable thing. And I was actually kind of fond of the idea of local being sort of a system that can be accurate, if the player org actually puts effort into sort of keeping certain structures up, making sure that there's certain observational structures around areas that are not, a normal source of ingress and egress out of a system, right? That sort of thing.
Yeah, but
but
I agree
CCP
with you
just
there.
but CCP just decided to not even read any, or seemingly not even read any of that stuff, and just went, "Yeah, we're just turning it off." And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and most of all, what they always miss is if you make things harder for the player, you need to balance that by giving them
like features, powerful features, like powerful
not,
features,
not,
but there
not
needs
even
to be play
features,
and counterplay, right?
Yeah, not only that, but like for example, like money making needs to be addressed then, right? If you look at the other place where you don't have local, which is wormhole space, you make a lot of money there, right?
Yeah.
In
And you
no-sec,
control,
you don't.
and you can control your inputs and your routes in and out of a wormhole system as well.
Yeah.
Like, obviously this day and age, especially with like with some of the sort of types of wormholes that you can spawn into a wormhole that spawns into a wormhole system, some of those you can't get rid of, or it's extremely difficult to actually mitigate them. But like most of the time in those scenarios, you're not going to have an entire you're not going to have a single ship suddenly spawn an entire fucking fleet landing on your face, right? So there is, there's aspects of getting caught in a wormhole that don't immediately translate to getting caught in a null-sec system, right?
Yeah, and wormholes have a limit to how much of a force you can expect, right? Because
exactly, yeah,
they will come in through a wormhole, which has mass limitations.
And yeah, both jumpable mass limitations as well as maximum mass limitations.
Yeah, and when you're in a wormhole, right? I mean, there's usually only 2 ways in and out at any given time. Usually, at least from my experience. They may have changed that a little bit over the years since I've been in a wormhole. But right, it's one of the things you're constantly scanning for. If you're running sites, somebody's always scanning, looking for a new wormhole in. Once you identify it, you sit a cloaked person on it, so you know what's coming in and out. You don't need local. You have an alt sitting.
You have an alt, right? And you have an alt sitting there with strangely enough, with Eve audio on.
Yeah.
Because like that's Absolutely. The thing, like you're not there looking at that alt all the time. In actual fact, what wormholers do is they sit in an alt close to the wormhole cloaked up. They have the wormhole basically positioned real fucking close to the camera, like, and because the wormhole makes noises when it's activated, and so they're listening for that noise, and if they hear that noise, they know shit's up and they need to actually get their ship safe. Like,
right.
That's how they do it.
Yeah, I lived there for a number of years, and I mean, yeah, they're just different tricks, right?
Yeah.
We would make billions, multiple billions a day, just ratting in relative safety inside a wormhole.
Yeah, you can be.
And not
it's
even
surprising.
like
it's surprising how safe you can make it.
Yeah, I think we're only in a 3 or a 4. We weren't in a 5. Right? I mean, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of blue goo, at the time.
Yeah, you're not having an Astero basically like suddenly decloak on you, point you, and then light a Sino and have like, a whole Black Ops fucking fleet land on your face. Like,
No,
so
but
that's the
but
thing.
you can't just easily import things out of Cheetah by giving it to like a courier service, right?
Absolutely we
true,
could.
yeah.
Absolutely we could.
Well, yeah, there's ways and means.
Oh yeah.
There's
But then again,
it's
you don't.
more
But then
complicated than just making a career contract.
It's a bit more complicated. Absolutely, you have to manage your in and out of your import export, right? But you're just rolling the hull. I mean, it depends on how you connect as well, right?
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like if you are dealing with more bullshit, if life is being made harder for you, then there should be a reward for dealing with that. Being that as a reward for the individual pilot or reward for the organization, right? If we're talking about maintaining structures so that you keep your local, that's an organizational thing, right? So the organization should get something for it, should get a reward.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like.
Hey guys, I have to step away here a little bit. I will be turning momentarily. Okay, so you guys have to kind of carry the conversation. I have to step away.
At least just to like, Bardgo's being roped into gardening, so like
gardening.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
well,
the things that
now
the things that a nerd has to do.
I will say one thing before I go. I mean, I'm just going to be gone for a couple minutes.
Okay, that's okay.
Oh
dear. One of the things that I grew up with, because unlike my wife, my mother cared how the shrubbery looked outside and plants and bushes, right? So I always knew every spring that my mother would buy 1 or 2 new ones, and she'd be out there with my dad, and you'd think, oh, he only has to plant 1 or 2. No, he has to move all the existing ones to the new locations, while my mother sat there, no, move it over there. That one. Okay, so I get the roped into gardening stuff too, but yeah. All right, I will be back momentarily. I'm going to mute here, and you guys will be able to hear stuff that they want on the stream, and I'm going to just a few minutes.
Okay, it's all good. But I have to actually do some landscape gardening. I don't know how much gardening you've done, Soth, but like, or landscaping you've done, but like, yeah, I need to do I need to plan the entire front and back garden, essentially.
My gardening experience is very limited. I mowed a lawn once.
You mowed a lawn once, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I can understand that. So sometimes you don't live in a place that has a garden. It's one of those things that like I now have a front and back garden to deal with, whereas previously I didn't. So yeah, it's a bit of a change of pace. But
technically, my apartment has a garden attached to it, but I don't have to take care of it.
Yes.
Yay.
So
also not like I use it.
Yeah, the Turk in chat. It's so yes, it was a spelling error, and then it became a meme for the show, and now we've just kept it. Like, yes, it is. It is meant to be spelt how you've said it in chat. But
wait. Turk in chat.
The Turk.
Ah.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I was about to. Yeah, if Dirk actually spoke in chat and wasn't in voice, I'd have to slap him across the face. Metaphorically, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
But yeah. So local got fucked up this week. Yeah, go T-Grads. I'm wearing my, I'm not wearing the T-Grad thing, but I'm wearing the initiative kind of thing at the moment. So, which is, I mean, yeah. Because as you do, right?
Uh-huh.
One of the things, right? So one of the things that we were going to talk about last week, but we got into essentially like the whole 20th anniversary and talking about, you know, our history in the game. It is the conversation around, as Virkan in chat has kind of hinted at, is T2 capitals. And I know you like ships, and I know you like fucking around and working outfits and stuff like that for ships. And we've talked about ships, potential upcoming ships, especially some of the new additions, right? What do you think is coming with regards to T2 capitals?
A whole slew of new problems for CCP. Look,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. There is a whole host of balance issues with such things, right?
Like they have been trying to balance the capitals and super capitals for forever now, right?
Yeah.
And now they had the grand idea of hey, how about we introduce like a whole new set of ships to this problem, right? That's gonna make it easier.
Yeah. God damn it. But it's the easy route, right? It's you're not making brand new ships, you know, brand new ship models. You're not sort of like doing any of that sort of form. Like most of the time, I mean, you might make a few additions. You might take a regular ship and just add a few little things to it, right? Like, but that's it.
Here's a counterpoint to that. I would say that the art team is among the more productive teams at CCP. So
but they don't
making a new like ship shape. I don't see that as a problem for CCP, right?
Yeah, but why don't they take these opportunities as means to leverage the art team? Is what I wonder. Because
I wonder that too.
Because like there's been when was the last ships that they introduced were the
AT ships.
There's the AT ships that they add, but it's only a very small amount of ships.
Yeah, also
but like there's also
that's like a reskin of ships we already had, right?
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. It's kind of like, you know, they're leveraging the art team just to do reskins, and it's like they could be so much more.
Didn't we like ask for T2 capitals?
Oh, people have been asking for all sorts of things, Dawn. It doesn't mean that you should give it to them. You know? Just because they ask for them doesn't mean you give it to them. But like
maybe the T2 will fill in that weird gap that we have and help us get a better way of balancing.
What weird gap is this? That
either quote unquote broken or absolutely worthless. There is no in between with a capital. You are either mowing down subcaps like candy, or you are sitting there watching as a Munin fleet plinks you down because you can't hit the broadside of a barn.
So, but you're talking about like fighting a, you know, you're fighting a hull's type lower than you though. Like that's the thing. Like, you know,
can a cruiser shoot a frigate? That's 2 sizes lower.
No. We are talking. Like,
but it's quite significant.
We're talking 3 sizes classes lower, right?
Talking classes
Capital
down,
to cruiser is 3 sizes down.
Yeah.
Still be able to hit something,
right? But I don't think these will be dreads. Simply by the fact that
they're dreads.
What they said they will be dreads?
Yes.
That's dumb as fuck.
Right.
They literally just added faction dreads.
Listen, that's because if you gotta have faction, then you get T2. They already said they're dreads, and if you look, one of them's a hick dread.
If you have faction, then you need tech too.
Yeah,
No.
that's how it works. Also, as I said, one of them's a hick dread.
No, it's not.
Yep.
Hick dread.
Yeah.
Where's that coming from?
It was in one of the trailers. Or on the CCP
Okay,
stream. It showed the dread with a giant bubble coming out of it.
Now you're just inferring things from a trailer, right? Which
we know is dangerous, but that's all we have to work on.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So counterpoint, it could be not Tech 2 dreads and instead new modules for dreads, and then Tech 2 carriers.
So I've always, I've
They
always
already said it's T2 capitals. They had a whole stream about this.
Yeah,
Yes,
but it doesn't
Tech
mean
2
that it's a
capitals.
T2 hick. Like it's, you know.
Oh. You're right. I guess it could be a module that you add to your dread.
Yes, and then they could be adding Tech 2 carriers.
No, they already said it's dreads. Like,
I mean, are they really going to just stop there and that's it?
that's the thing. We don't know if it's only dreads or if it's going to be dreads and other stuff.
See, I think that's just meh. Like we already got faction dreads. Like, is there really a need for Tech 2 dreads?
They probably just shoot harder, faster, better.
And are more expensive.
Yeah.
Which
sink that money in there.
Isn't it? Oh.
By the way, don't need to clean your glasses when you're hot and sweaty because it just doesn't stop being streaky, cloudy.
What have you been doing?
Oh, so my AC is struggling. It
Right,
runs
okay.
and it works.
You're having some,
but it is still so hot that I've just turned it off, and I need to. My dad came and changed the filter today because it's not just a quick open up a slot and put it in. Like it requires unscrewing a whole panel, taking another panel off, and then swapping it out, and then putting those back on. And while I technically know how to do it, my dad likes to feel useful, so I let him do it.
What's that?
And so I waited for him to do that today. We're seeing if that solves the problem, but it is still not getting very cold.
You know,
well, thankfully hasn't been that hot over here yet.
But and also, no one here really has AC.
My AC is very much like Soft. My AC is opening a window.
Yeah.
And maybe turning on a fan. That's about it. Like that's pretty much it.
Listen, if I have an AC, it should
closing
work.
the window. Yeah, right. If you have
maybe
the right windows, closing it will actually make it not go hot.
Well, what's your temp out right now?
Here?
Yeah. In freedom units, if possible.
Fucking freedom units.
Yeah, you're not getting that. You can convert that yourself.
Oh my god. Hold on, let me get this insane calculation out.
But I mean, 18C is about 65 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's 22 in the shadow right now.
22 in the shadow
so
is 72.
Well, it's 76 here, so if it was,
it's not really much warmer for you.
It is it definitely feels very different. I normally like to sit in 71, 72. So having it be 76 outside and in my house, because of the computer, even with the window open, it gets up to 77 to almost 79. There's a difference, though. It's gonna rain soon, so hopefully it cools down.
It's not 22 inside here. It's cooler inside.
Yeah, no, my house is insulated, so it holds its heat pretty well.
So we're talking about why you're supposed to open the windows in the morning when it's still cold.
They were.
The other thing is obviously humidity as well.
So it's about to rain. There's giant storm clouds.
Yeah, so when it starts raining, open the window again, because when it rains, it cools down.
Yeah.
But plus
hopefully.
the other thing is like that's the thing, like it'll get like super humid before before a thunderstorm, and obviously when that actually occurs, like that'll break the humidity like significantly.
Yeah, one
And
of the
temperature will drop
challenges
like a
that
motherfucker.
now that
And
we're
it
talking
just
about weather,
smelled so nice.
Oddly enough, I fucking love thunder, lightning.
it is excellent. Thunder and lightning,
Well, it can also be very, very frightening.
only in certain songs.
Soth is a poet and he doesn't know it.
Guys are terrible.
Well, I'm very much aware.
One of the things I wanted you to check because I kept my earbuds in the whole time,
Oh,
so I
cool.
could
Oh,
hear
no.
the whole conversation. Right. So some
So
great
you heard
topics there.
everything we said
Yes.
about you.
One of the things that I'm gonna say to Dawn here is
What?
make sure you check your coolant. You may be low on coolant, and that's why.
Yeah, I made. Yeah, that's what my dad and I were thinking. It might just need a recharge because if it wasn't working, like it wouldn't turn on. So we're like, okay, it's not a motor issue. It's not a fan issue. It's just a probably low.
But
Yep.
see, what weirds me out is that every time someone suggests to Americans that they don't need AC, they are like,
Fuck
oh
off.
yeah, but it's so much warmer here in the US than in Europe, right? And
Yeah.
yet we just figured out that for you it isn't.
No,
Hey, they have higher numbers because they're using a Fahrenheit rather than Celsius, right? So
yeah, that's why. Yeah,
higher numbers clearly
You
means
know-
that it's hotter.
higher numbers. It makes us feel bad. You know, we feel too hot.
Man's not
No.
hot.
Yeah, in the South, they truly they would die.
Oh yeah, like I'm not disputing
Yeah,
that.
but in the North, yeah, but then there's you know, we're a little spoiled with our AC. A lot of people have
Little, yeah.
it. You know, I could tell you if I didn't have it, I couldn't sleep. I just sweat to death. But yeah, it'd be terrible. You know, Mac was talking earlier in the old Casa de Asmock. It is kept at a nice 69 degrees Fahrenheit.
See, that's a little
Oh,
too
giggity.
cold. That's too
Nice.
cold for me. But
Well,
You want to keep it at that 69 degrees.
that keeps it at about 72
oh, okay.
in the office
Wait.
where I am. Okay.
Yeah.
So
And that's reasonable.
yeah, this is where all the computer is. Bridget Bond, thank you for the follow. Hey, that gives us a chance to break here and say that. By the way, I haven't heard feedback from anybody if the sound's better this week or not. But please let us know. You know, if you've got your Jassy bucks, because Bezos isn't the CEO anymore. Hint, hint. You get a free sub to if you've got Amazon Prime. Free sub to any program. So if you're not using your free sub, we would love to have your free sub.
I mean, it would definitely benefit. It would definitely benefit us as such as. But and the other kind of thing is like if you're not subbing to any, if you're not using your free sub, it's literally money being wasted.
Yeah, you're wasting money.
You might as well not waste it.
I'm sorry to tell you, but I literally cancelled my Prime sub.
Well, I mean, it's
2 days
because
ago.
you do this rolling thing of like going to
I do
different
the rolling
stuff,
thing, yeah.
right? Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's understandable.
where I switch between services every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There you go.
So which service are you at now? Like are you back on?
No, my Amazon, the Prime one is still until the 19th. I just,
Yay!
you know,
Cheers,
I
Napa.
looked at how much I actually used it in the past months, and figured it's not worth it for me right now. Because I didn't order that much from Amazon, I didn't watch that much on Prime, so yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm canceling
So-
it for now.
By the way, I stand
You're
corrected.
on your Disney Plus now, are you?
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
Right now, our cooling is set to 72, so we're okay. We have 50% humidity outside. And the outside temp is 65.
72.
So technically,
what's that in everybody else's units?
It's American units.
22. Oh, okay, 22.
You used $1 to buy your oil. I don't know why it's so hard not to use everything American.
I was just checking to see what 72 was in everyone else's
I can
units.
just hold on.
Holy mother of God.
Temperature units. I'm switching to Celsius. Okay, it's 22. Cool is set to 22. And outside it's 18. So our AC isn't even kicking on. So we're good.
Yeah. I think ours is set to some. I think like ours is set to somewhere around about there as well. Like 20, 21. I think mine's 20 or 21, like degrees C. Like that's a nice temperature to to idle at.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
That's the beauty of having systems that are electronic. I just push the button. Yeah. I go to Celsius. I can help my non-American friends.
There we go.
Who are wrong, but I'll translate for you.
I'm gonna say the forbidden word for Germans here.
Sauerkraut? Is it sauerkraut?
No,
am I right?
No. We like sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut.
What all Germans are mad about right now are heat pumps.
Oh God, fucking heat pump issues.
People are really mad about heat pumps because they want to keep their fucking ancient oil heaters, right?
Yeah, dirty though.
It's dumb.
Super dumb.
But yeah, what a lot of people forget about heat pumps is they work both ways, right?
Yeah,
you can heat your home with them, and you can cool it.
Yeah, the heating factor, if it gets too cold, doesn't work. There is a threshold there. Yeah, my dad has one. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but it needs to get really cold for that, and I live in an area where it doesn't get that cold.
Right, and that's good. I mean, that's where
I'm not saying it's a solution for everyone, right? There is no solution for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if your environment goes to absolute extreme temperatures, then heat pumps are probably not where you want to be because,
and you also need really good insulation because heat pumps don't heat that much, right? So you kind of want to be in the area where you only need like 40 to 50 kilowatt of heating.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, like in a modern house, that's not a problem.
No, you didn't trade it with saying, I know there's a threshold. I'm very well aware of it because I hear it.
But then there's also IR sort of like heating elements that you can actually, literally plaster into the ceilings as well.
Oh, we had that in our college dorms. Yeah.
So there's other means of being able to heat rather than just heat pumps as such. But without having to go to the extremes of actually burning fossil fuels. So it's like
what creates the electricity?
I mean, it depends.
In America, it's usually fossil fuels.
It depends. Well, that's why I said it depends, right?
If we look at Norway, for example, 95% of it is hydro.
But the other thing about this, Eric, is what do you think burns fossil fuels more efficiently? A small burner that is the size of basically a person, or a massive fucking
depends.
Like a massive power plant designed specifically to do that.
I think our our natural gas is somewhere north of 98% efficient. To the fact where it's cool air going outside.
So the efficiency. Yeah, so the efficiency is better in the large, in the large power plant than it is in the small kind of burner that sometimes people have at home, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's my point.
I don't know whether that's true or false because I don't.
Well,
care enough to look into it.
just look at the.
You know what's more
just look at it
efficient?
logically. Just look at it logically.
The one that is least expensive for Erik. That's the most
Yeah.
efficient.
Okay.
Right. So if you
That's
tell me,
true.
Get
I guess
electric
that's true.
heat. Get electric heat. Right. Switch from
Mm-hmm.
gas, and my electric bill goes to $400 a month in the winter, and my gas bill would have been $18. I'm pretty sure I know which is the best.
Yeah, but you're using electric for more than just heating in that case. So of course,
No.
are you saying an extra 400?
Yeah.
Also, we know of the issues of the
MEPA.
U.S. energy grid. So
yeah, hold on. MEPA.
Maybe as a U.S. citizen, bad idea, especially if you live in Texas.
MEPA. Price
Yeah.
price equals the efficient use of Erik's cash funds. Depends on how you define efficiency, right?
Eric's redefining efficiency here. Like we're not talking about like standardized efficiency.
Remember two folks. Erik has like 45 solar panels on his roof. All right.
Yeah, you made that change, and I applaud you for that. To be completely honest,
well, no, it's all about cost efficiency, right? Cost efficiency, return on investment, blah 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 blah. We have a hybrid car too. We don't have a plug-in. There's a reason we don't have a plug-in. We have a hybrid, right?
So long as there's not a self-charging hybrid.
It is a self-charging.
I mean, that's just a normal car with a larger fucking starter motor, man. That's all that is.
Yeah, I really don't like hybrids because you are driving two motors around, right? The weight of two motors, extra batteries. You're driving
motors are much
a tank
smaller,
around.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
it's
they
not
are,
a tank.
but it's still weight. It's
not a tank. It's smaller than my gas car. It's just, look at the size of a Prius. It's not that big. Okay.
Yeah, but
the wife has.
I could just imagine you, Erik, kind of going, "Well, my gas car is this one," pointing at like a fucking massive excavator, and going, my other car is smaller than this one, so
See, I think I have the most efficient way of doing it out of all of us because I walk to work.
Right, well, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. So do I, by the way.
It's like 500 meters.
I walk to work. I come from my bedroom to my office downstairs every day.
Yeah, that's
gonna be like you work from.
Let's be honest here. That's very efficient because
it is.
I'm not even talking about the cost of fuel. I'm talking about the cost of time, right? And that's what a lot of people forget when they have a long commute, right? No one's paying you for that. You're sitting in your car for like an hour. That's just gone.
Yeah. That really sucks.
Right? And I know like in certain countries it's impossible to get a place close to your work. But maybe your countries should stop being bad then. Right, Mac?
No comment.
No, I was reading.
Let's not poke that particular side of my life.
I was truly reading a chat there, so I didn't pay attention.
I was wondering how to crowbar in some comment about mining. If you mine it, it's free, right? Into this conversation somehow. It's like I think to myself, like, how can I get this in? Like,
nothing is ever free. No progress is ever completely waste or pollution free. No work can be done. No industry can be done in that nature. You can't. It's just the way it is.
No, but you can make it more efficient.
You can always make it more efficient. And that's what progress is called, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You look at
the efficiency of, taking the energy stored inside of something and translating it into motion.
and
is
look,
more efficiently done in an electric car than it is in any gas car.
you could also argue that some of these new green techs actually make sense from a money point of view. So, for example, we have a lot of wind turbines here, right? I live at the coast. There's a lot of wind here, so of course you have wind turbines because wind, right? Now the problem is the other reason there's a lot of wind turbines here is there's not a whole lot of people living here, right? So there's lots of space where you can plunk down a wind turbine without annoying anyone because no one lives in the vicinity.
As far as I can recall, they're actually really fucking high, right? So like it's not like you just attach it to your roof. Like, well, if you can attach it to your roof, but like you can't just plonk it on your roof. Like you have to actually you have to secure it significantly.
Here. Yeah, we have wind turbines here that are in excess of 125 meters.
Yeah.
Right, and that's not the tip of the rotor.
That's just to the main housing, right?
To the main housing, yeah.
Yeah.
So these are huge.
Talk about wind.
Now the problem is,
yes,
the energy isn't really needed here, right? Because again, not many people living here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it gets carted over to Denmark, to Norway, actually now.
You have like energy sharing schemes, right? Like,
yeah, and down south to Hamburg, where you have a lot of industry. Now the problem is the grid sometimes can't take all of it, right? So what they do is they turn some of them off. So now you have wind turbines that could be making money, but that aren't because the grid can't take it. There's no one to use the energy at that moment. Now what we are doing here now is we're using that energy to make hydrogen.
See, as much as I get the idea of generating hydrogen from the energy, it's difficult to store because hydrogen is such a tiny fucking molecule that it has a propensity to work its way through materials. And so it's really fucking awkward. Really fucking awkward to deal with.
But it doesn't get stored long because we actually use the hydrogen right here for our buses and our like
essentially public transport, right? Like basically.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All technology comes with its pros and cons, good and bad. Doesn't matter.
I know that I know Soth violently disagrees with me with this because we've talked about it before. And we've and to be fair, Mostaris and I have also talked a little bit of discussed this quite at length as well.
We really should.
But I personally think that we should not be generating hydrogen. We should be generating artificial
intelligence.
Methane.
We should generate more artificial intelligence. That's what we should do.
See, the thing is, you need hydrogen for more than transport, right? For certain industries, for example, when you are smeltering, I believe it was iron, you also need hydrogen, right?
Okay.
When I'm making my water in the morning, I have some hydrogen in a canister, some oxygen. They mix together. I get a cup of water. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I don't buy peroxide. I just have my little hydrogen canisters and the oxygen canisters.
Right.
You want to talk about wind farms? Let me tell you. If you ever drive from Indianapolis to Chicago, you'll go through the wind fields of Purdue University. They have hundreds of turbines out there for research. Hundreds.
Yeah, none of them ever need their oil changed.
At night, they all have like the airplane lights on. So you see this field just hundreds of red dots just appear in the darkness as you're driving. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
is it an eyesore, Dawn? Do you look at it and go, "Oh my god, this is just a blight on the scenery"?
Well, considering that they're in massive cornfields, it's really not messing with anything.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? A lot of people who are like angry about like wanting to have onshore wind farms, like basically say that like do the whole NIMBY thing, not in my backyard kind of thing, because they consider it to be like an eyesore of some form. I'm like,
well, there's twofold.
if you wanted to have like a fucking like a massive fucking you know, typical normal power plant, right, versus a bunch of wind turbines, I know which one looks more of an eyesore, and it's not the fucking wind turbines.
The power plant is a little bit of a smaller real estate footprint. No, we need to drive this back to Eve, but there's two things on the the two big things about
back to Eve.
The two big things on wind farms are, if they are close to residential communities, there is a noise and the flashing light issue. Both things are trying to be addressed, particularly the flashing light.
And when
making them
sensitive
to when air traffic is in the area.
No. Eric, you are mistaking something there. The flashing light isn't the light they have on top for the air traffic, because that no one could care less about that, right?
No,
especially
that's specifically
at night.
The subject of a law being addressed in certain areas in the United States. Yes.
Well, the
read
United
the article
States
yesterday.
is often dumb. The problem
well, it doesn't stop it from actually happening.
Is shadow throwing, right? So if the sun is going down and the wind turbine is between the residential area and the sun, you have this shadow being thrown, and because the turbine is moving, right?
Yeah, passing by the sun, and
yes. Which, as someone who has lived near a wind turbine for 10 years,
it's
that shit can get annoying. Right?
I can get annoying, but it's not like it's at the frequency to like trigger people's epilepsy. Like,
no,
it's not a hazard.
Anything. It's just it's annoying. But after a few years, you don't even notice it anymore, right? The noise is definitely something that you need to be aware of, and it's why in Germany, wind turbines aren't allowed within, I believe it's 800 meters of residential buildings.
That would make a degree of sense. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's. I mean, it has large, high speed like components. So yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing you want is a tower basically malfunctioning, breaking, and being too close to residential areas that it causes a hazard, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want that.
I'm just citing
anyway.
current legislation that's being enacted in a number of areas, a number of states, right, related to that, and they are air traffic sensing lights on top rather than having them constantly blinking because they are distracting to other folks.
We have those here now.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but there's ways around, right?
I wouldn't say that it changed anything, because the lights on top aren't so big that they are illuminating an area, right? You notice them when you look out the window at night. You see the red lights blinking, right? But why would you do that? Like, just to get annoyed?
What? Look out the window?
There are wind turbines? Yeah. Like, why do you care so much that there's a blinking red light at night?
Apparently, people do.
Yeah,
and as not necessarily, there are a number of reasons. I don't necessarily care why people are implementing them, right? That's how it works here in the United States, right? If you don't like something, you can propose legislation for it, and if it carries, it carries. If it doesn't, it doesn't, right? That's called self-government, and it's your area, right? You have the right to do that in the United States. So I don't have a problem with it. It's what you want to do. I mean, they have some challenges where they think, and I'm going to say they think, right? Because I don't know if it's true or not, right? They have water-based wind turbines, and they have a lot of whales dying in those areas. Why are the whales dying? I don't know. Is it really due to the wind farm? I don't know. Right? That's where you research things and see if things are good or bad first.
Well, that's turbines have been found to cause a higher spike in death of bald eagles when areas.
Oh yeah, well they kill birds. I mean, they just do.
Yeah, but
but so do cats.
They actually did.
They don't kill bald eagles.
The thing is,
that's
there's
the
a lot
thing.
of things that
They
will
actually,
kill eagles and such, but like there's if the concern is they kill birds, it's like, well, you don't see like fucking preventative orders to prevent people from fucking having cats. So
there are actual studies about this now.
No, I know.
Which are actually like fairly new, right? And they found out that birds are actually smart enough to not fly into the obvious giant wind turbine.
Apparently, bald eagles aren't because
they are American.
Okay. Let's be clear. Number one, they were an endangered species for a long time. So,
I'm still calling
bald
them
eagles.
American.
Hold on. Well, they are but they're the greatest bird in the world. So there you go.
Sounds rebuke to most things where it's like,
wait for it. Bald eagles, they fly up really high and then they have sex, and if they're not done by the time they get to the bottom, they just die.
Aren't you going to say that you can relate to that, Dawn?
No.
I was going to say, like, if anybody's going to comment about.
By the way, if I'm wrong about that, but I believe I'm
Caleb.
right about that, feel free to fact check me. Okay.
That's correct. They do it. Well, it's not necessarily mating. It's usually courting. And if they lock talons and spiral down, and if they don't let go in time, they'll just plunk right into the dirt. It's not common, but it does happen.
Yeah.
So if you're a bald eagle, you really don't want a clingy partner. Essentially, there's all one must.
No, you want one that can. No. This is where you want one that can finish quickly. Okay, that's all I'm saying. All right.
They're courting.
Okay, I guess there's hope for me yet.
Well, you're going to have to explain that to the audience because I don't think we all understand your comment.
Well,
I'm sure they'll be able to
really
infer
fast
them.
finisher if I have to.
Caleb, I'm sorry, but you have too much hair for a bald eagle.
But no.
Bald
That's
eagles
exactly
aren't
the same.
actually bald. So
exactly, they are the same as me. They have this big, nice blonde mane. Well, theirs is pure white, but to some, I guess that looks like it's bald. I don't know.
And they only really look good from the front and not from the side.
I'm just
they look great from the side, but not from the front because from the front
they look great from any angle.
You never see a bald eagle looking good from the front, or you never see images of them looking straight at a camera because it looks fucking weird.
That's really not
always
the most.
At the side.
The most controversial thing about the bald eagle is that it's got such a wimpy voice that they have to use a different bird in movies. Otherwise, people don't believe that it's that bird.
Yeah, the classic bald eagle core is like not a bald eagle at all.
No, it sounds extremely wimpy, which is kind of fun.
I mean, their talons are only as big as your hand. Pretty sure they can. Caleb, they can pick you up. By the way, Caleb,
they still have a wimpy voice.
I'm trying to figure out if your comment, Caleb, related to you're a fast finisher if you have to. Is that you have mastered the art of the quickie, or that you're not a very giving lover? Which is it?
Are you talking about my mastery and trying to bait me? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah.
Is that masturbatory?
Are you a little bit selfish, or you just mastered the art of the quickie? Which is it? Inquiring minds. Our audience wants to know. They're screaming in chat.
He did use the term if he has to. So
if I have to, and the point you're really making is that there are, and I think that's what at least Dawn will agree. There's no such thing as a tantric sex bald eagle. They do not exist because they would all be dead.
By the way, we started to talk about Caleb's sex life, and the user count went up 10. Just saying.
I love how you said we have to move this back to EVE Online.
I know.
And we went this direction instead.
So we need to.
I'm going to be here for another
second
10-15 minutes. So
well, you know what? By the way, McLeod was trying to figure out why you have to leave so early for Eurovision.
Food.
He's making food.
I need to make food.
And he doesn't make a sandwich like normal people.
What do you
No,
make?
You'll be
Let's
cooking
talk about
something
this.
from scratch, right?
Oh, he has to roll out the pie dough.
Yeah.
He has to make the pie dough
And he's
first.
making, he's got to make the pie. He's got to let it rise. He's got to watch it while it rises.
And then I have to eat it as well, right?
Yeah, and if you're making pizza dough, he's got to do the whole flippity thing like the Italians, right? So
with the hand motions,
with the
actually you got to go like this, right? It's like
do not talk about hand and movements and gestures with the German, please. Can we please not do that?
Oh,
well, I'm Italian. I can't.
Yeah, you can't speak without moving his hands.
By the way, we always used to say that if we,
the one way to shut. So the one way to shut up well, actually, no. This is clearly this is just a joke.
Racist?
See, this is just a joke. But like the old adage is the one way to shut up an Italian is to tie his hands together.
Well, we used to tell my mother that all the time. If you don't be quiet, we're gonna tie your hands together.
Yeah.
And as it's Mother's Day, right?
Not yet.
Eric's.
But it might be for you.
Oh, he's starting another one of those American Euro wars.
Are you Eric? Are you doing the same thing that you do with Christmas, and you start Mother's Day like fucking 5 months before Mother's Day?
Mother's Day is
actually
tomorrow.
Mother's Day. In a few European countries as well tomorrow.
Yeah. Right, so for all the mothers out there,
all your moms.
Yes, they call that the coalition of the willing.
Right, and by the way, if you haven't called your mom in a while, people out there,
or the living,
okay, everybody, if it's Mother's Day, make sure you call. You should just call your mom anyway. It makes her happy. All right. I'm lucky enough to live 2 miles away from mine, and we have dinner every Friday and everything. So,
my mom actually makes sure to let me know if I haven't called in a week. So, yeah, can't happen.
Mom guilt there, isn't it? The funniest thing about my wife, and we all know she's Jewish, right? And Jewish guilt and all that stuff, right? So she Jewish guilts herself. She's so bad.
Damn.
And by the way, I'm not saying anything she doesn't say.
Okay.
She's like, I feel so guilty. It's like, yeah, you're guilting yourself. And she laughs. She goes, yeah, I know.
With a T, by the way, everyone. He's guilting himself with a T.
He's not gilding himself.
Guilt. In case you didn't hear
it took me too long to realize what you were on about.
Myself. Yeah, no, it would never happen.
What's sake?
Although we did watch a hideous movie the other day. I forget what it was called.
Human Centipede?
No, it was one where.
I mean, it's a horrible film.
It's not a horrible film, but it just has some cringy moments.
Okay.
Somebody might have got shot somewhere down below.
Where
someone got shot in a movie.
Someone shot you in the ass.
It wasn't the ass.
Oh, okay.
Well, something might have hung down a little lower.
It wasn't a yeah. I was about to say it wasn't a Bad Boys 2 special then.
No. But like 3/4 of the way through the movie, they show it in the beginning, but they don't really show it. And later on in the movie, they show it, and the paintball is just going, and I'm like, oh, I can't watch. So yeah, half Italian, half offended, and half don't give a damn. We love you, Bridget. That is the way to live your life.
I'm just impressed that Soth didn't give us the history lesson of why we think that the Italians speak with their hands like that.
Because
do I look like Dirk?
Or horrendous?
A history lesson.
Or Dirk is not here, and horrendous is not here. So that means that the job usually falls to you, Soth.
No. Can't have that.
I grew up in an Italian-German family. I know what the Italians do. Germans, they just make a bunch of sauerkraut and some Wiener Schnitzel and whatever, and we have a good time.
That's the most American stereotype ever.
I love, I like German food. I love it.
I mean, you have been using.
Do you like
you
German
have been
food?
using an
I love
American
German food.
Do you like German food or Bavarian food?
You know, whatever they serve at that stupid German Hofbrauhaus. Love it all.
So you like Bavarian food.
There you go.
There you go.
You know,
Bridget, no.
All the sausages. What?
You heard it here first.
Oh, yeah.
Erik likes all the sausages.
All the sausages, baby.
He really likes to have a long, thick sausage in his mouth.
Here's the thing. She signed up as a Prime member. Why can't she post links? That's weird.
I don't think that grants you that ability, to be fair.
She got a timeout for saying something to McLeod that is completely normal too. I don't know. It's kind of strange.
I don't think it's a Prime.
Weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, Bridget,
Let's just start with unbanning. There we go.
Excuse me. I've had a little sinus problem, so I have a little bit of a cough, folks. So yeah,
I know that. Yeah, I know that you can post links if you're a Prime member for the or if you're a subscriber to the actual channel as such. But like,
she's not. She's not. She says, or he. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Right. So yeah, sorry about that, but I think you're getting over timed out.
I think it's a little bit harsh, but like it's basically to prevent people from like.
So just so you know, we know you're not
links,
crazy,
like really bad links.
You might be crazy, but we're kind of nuts too, so we wouldn't really have a good comparable. But yeah, so we talked about local going down, total obliteration, the tiny death that brings total obliteration is local going down. And we talked about the new subcaps, right?
Well, the new caps, but we didn't really like postulate quite like
caps,
where it's going to go. It's just like that. It's just basically going to be a balancing nightmare, right? You know, I think nobody can say that it's not going to be a balancing nightmare because it really fucking is.
So any of those 2003 players out there that are listening to this, no, you're not having a deja vu. This is a thing. We're talking about local, and we're talking about subcap rebalance. It's all new again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Bargo's hold on. Let me step back.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm really coughing now. Bargos got roped into gardening, as you guys talked earlier. Okay. And we did a little gardening talk, right? Whether that's landscaping or gardening, I don't know. Right, two different things.
I need to be landscaping. I need to landscape my front and back garden. It's like
I do too.
I'm so fucking lost. I'm so fucking lost doing that shit.
Do you guys do like the really cool edge? You know, like there's grass, there's a straight vertical like 4-inch edge down, and then it's a little bit of an angle for the bed the rest of the way.
I was thinking about actually doing I'm wondering about how to doing the edge kind of thing and whether to actually do an actual sort of like paved edged or not. I don't know.
Do you have a reciprocating saw?
No, I don't. But I'd like to get one of them because they're fucking super useful.
Yeah, I bought one just for this, by the way. Okay.
Okay.
By the way, you just go 4 or 5 inches down straight vertical with a reciprocating saw along your edge. And then you just take a shovel at the angle and just go down and pull it right out. And you got a perfectly straight edge without having to rent one of those. There are really cool machines that do the edge for you. Really cool.
But that makes makes sense that you could but that would cost a fair amount. And to be fair, that's understandable. That would just make the edge perfectly fine. Yeah.
Guys, I'm gonna be slightly offensive.
Really?
Slightly.
It can only take a golfer and a British person to have a long discussion about fixing your grass.
Hey,
it's like
hold on.
In the actual this is literally one of the episodes of Asterix and Obelisk. It's like wow.
Not just
Caleb, it's just like
grass, but making it straight. Like perfectly straight, right?
Yeah, there's an actual panel in Asterix, right, with a British person that's got the smallest sickle possible between his 2 fingers, and he's cutting 1 leaf of his lawn.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Hey,
It's true. It's such a great image.
I want you to understand, Caleb, where I'm sparing you, because if you really want to talk about grass, the difference between Poa Annua and bent grass on a golf green, we can go deep. All right.
Well,
I'm not going to go that deep.
By the way, the Poa is seeding right now.
Do not talk to me about going deep. I am well aware that you can go deep, Erik, but I'm just surprised that Soth didn't intervene and say, "Did you say landscaping or manscaping?"
By the way,
why not both?
the Poa is seeding, so it's making the greens bumpy. Bent grass is the best grass. Poa is a freaking weed, but you can't get rid of it up here. That, and whether you go Billy Bunker or not Billy Bunker in your sand bunkers, I mean, we can go there. Billy Bunkers hold that sand on the edge really good.
I'm not making a sand trap in my front or back garden. That sounds extremely innuendo-ish, but
I like Sunork over there cutting the lawn with a ruler and scissors. Nice punishment for wayward children. By the way, I've done that.
And you guys should know that instead of all this grass cutting, you have to find some nice wild flower blends and plant that instead, so you can save the bees.
No.
I'm all for saving the bees, but the wasps can go fuck themselves. That's how I feel about that.
Our neighbor's son is allergic to bee stings, so we're a little careful about some of that stuff.
Right.
I really want a bee farm in the back, but not allowed to have it yet. So
if you don't fuck with them, they won't fuck with you. They won't, whereas wasps will specifically go out and try and fuck with you.
I love how it took you like all of 20 minutes to come back to Eve.
I know.
Which means that I'm gonna dip out now.
You're gonna dip out. All right.
Yeah, he needs to go make food.
Hold on, let me gracefully
and then eat food before Eurovision.
Yes, remember, guys, today is Eurovision, right? If you don't know what Eurovision is, then you're American.
But today is also, the day for the meta show as well. So you have to.
Hold it. We have a couple announcements because we got a little peek here in the middle here.
Oh, did we get a little peek, little look-see as to what's going on with meta?
Not meta. No, nobody's given us enough time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Told us whether they're going to be there or not. We'll get through that eventually. However, after meta show.
Okay.
So some of the things we're trying to do here on INN, very, very interesting stuff. A little more gameplay, right, and things of that nature. So let me look for it here. They are saying, Saturday. All I have is shortly after the meta show.
Okay.
Shortly after. Okay. Dave Archer and friends will be playing Demonologist. Don't know what that game is.
I mean, I'm gonna have to Google it now.
I am. I'm not sure I can even say it or promote it because it's Demonologist. I don't know. It's demons. I'm not sure that's good for me to do. But
it's a co-op horror game. So if you enjoy watching streamers just basically get freaked out by a game, then that should be a good watch for you. Like if you if you like that kind of let's watch somebody freak the fuck out while playing a game, then
yeah, I don't know. Oh, is that one that is like super, super scary? Like you go in the door and shit might happen behind you and come kill you and shit.
Yeah, it looks like it's sort of
almost.
It looks like a haunted house / sort of like poltergeisty sort of thing, and you're going in there as essentially a priest to exercise the house in certain ways, shapes, and forms. Yeah,
that is not Erik. Erik does not like. I don't like scary movies.
Well, anyway, I see you guys for Eurovision.
Later, you're out of the mix. You're gone. You're out of here. Thank you, Soth, for being here.
Take care, Soth.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you in a little bit.
So yeah. I mean, has chat been fired?
Chat has been fucked up for the past And we're talking about in-game Eve chat has been
Yeah.
kind of fucked up for a while. Like,
Wasn't there
for a
some
while this week?
ship and Plex thing and exploding in Jita and dumb fuckery?
So yes, there was
saltiness?
also a couple of issues or a couple of things, right? I don't play Eve that much, so I'm not massively sort of like knowing the context to this, but like
I have a question.
There's
Hand
been
up.
Titans dying, right? There's been Titans dying. One of them was a Titan piloted by a person called, where the fuck is this? Called
I apologize for my cough.
Nagami Saraki,
Mhm.
or Nagami Saraki, something like that. Like it was a pandemic horde. Apparently, like from what I've been able to figure out, is there was like whoever it was subject to some kind of game bug that caused them to be vulnerable to being tackled and killed, and subsequently got tackled and killed.
Okay.
If that's incorrect, I apologize, but that's kind of like what that was my read out from it. Sort of like, there's a video about it, dropped by a guy from Brave. Yeah, the Titan produced a kill mail, whereas there was another Titan that died that didn't produce a kill mail. We'll go into that in a second as well. But yeah, it's like there was a Reddit thread, and the funny thing was, like, Asher was actually commented on that thread saying, "I once lost 25 Titans to a CSP bug." So clearly saying something along the lines of, it's you can get it, just you get over it. CCP won't reimburse you, but like it's something that happens in the game.
Yeah. That's a shame.
Mm-hmm. So I kind of feel like maybe there was some game bug issue that caused the death of that, or at least the vulnerability of that Titan to being killed. Yeah. So sucks for what's his face, Nagami Saraki. So and Pandemic Horde. But them what is it? Them's the breaks, right?
You play your cards. Whatever.
Yeah. It's not a play stupid games, win stupid prizes kind of sort of situation. But like every time you're flipping that coin, like there's a possibility that it'll come back the way that you didn't want it. However, if you're undocking a Titan on the Jitter 4/4 undock, you should kind of expect that maybe something might happen that you don't expect to happen. For whatever reason, right? For whatever reason, CCP Hilmar decided that like it would be a good idea to fire a Doomsday on the Jitter 4/4 undock.
What?
Whether he thought it was a good idea and thought he would get away with it because he's CCP Hilmar, I don't know.
By the way, saying CCP Hilmar has been banned on this show. We're not allowed to talk about him. So you can use his code name.
I could use his in-game name, CCP Helmar.
No, use his code name at Push a Talk. CCP Pink Himalayan Salt. And we can move on from that. It's a micro transgression on this show, but
yeah. So essentially, for whatever reason, it seems as though he was participating in some kind of or wanting to participate in some kind of like event celebrating the 20-year sort of anniversary of EVE Online, right? Mm-hmm. So he ended up shooting CCP Convict, who was flying a Fenrir at the time. If you didn't see this, that's the kill mail of CCP Convict in a Fenrir on the Jitteron dock by CCP Pillow flying an avatar using a Doomsday, right? Quite clearly. The issue is Here's CCP Hilmar's pod on the Jitterundog a little bit later. But no kill mail for the Titan. And I wonder why. And I assure you, the Titan did die.
I expected better implants from him, but okay.
And so, like, we're all wondering, like, I think a lot of people are wondering, like, why didn't the kill mail propagate? Right? I mean, we've had kill mails not propagating before, but, like, it's just so happens to be CCP Hilmar's, like, you know, Titan loss on Jitter 4-4. Like, that doesn't propagate. Like, that, to me, that seems a bit weird.
They've already said the kill mail was so big it broke. So analytics are rebuilding it. So says NeoZed.
I mean, I hope we get to see it. Because, like, you know, it seemed a bit fishy.
Seems.
But yeah, that was another thing that happened this week. I find it funny that, like, I mean, did he expect it? Did he expect to lose his Titan? I don't know. Like, but you know, doomsdaying somebody in high sec drops your security status to the point, and also obviously flags you up as being a suspect, so that people couldn't tackle you and shoot you. So, like, yeah. I mean, okay. Well, you know, if that's the case, fair enough, Ludwig. But, like, you know,
you know, some people just have special powers.
I'm just kind of wondering. Yeah, he may have been announced on Dog, like, you know, for it and stuff like that. But, like, yeah, if he expected to lose it or not expected to lose it, I don't know. But
I'm sure there was probably some expectation. It's not like, I mean, if anybody knows the rules,
I mean,
it's Hilmar, right? So
if he couldn't have undocked in an Iapton Titan, that would have been a bit too ridiculous. And if you don't know what those are the Titans that make Titans look small.
The Titans look small.
No, like, very small. Like, they make Titans look like frigates compared to Titans.
That's so sad.
Yeah, those are the big fucking Titans. But yeah, like, there's been some stuff going on. Just going back to my, like, random shit. Aside from, I think probably one of the awesome things is, like, the amount of memes and, like, stuff that's happened because of the broken local. It was just great.
That's kind of cool.
Like, people having multiple locals, people appearing in multiple locals, like, you know, all sorts of random shit.
It's like Twilight Zone stuff, you know.
And I think the faux pas in terms of, like, marketing that Hilmar also kind of fucked up on is when all of the local shit is happening and people are, like, angry and frustrated about you know, local being broken, and not just local being broken, but, like, you know, chat channels in general, you know, fleet chat, like, you know, like, private chat channels, you know, corporation and alliance chats and all that kind of stuff are broken. Like, Hilmar basically tweets out about the fact that, like, you know, you need to, you know, make sure that you're you know, make sure you're subscribed to EVE Online in order to actually get your name etched on the EVE monument.
Yeah, that was a little bit of bad timing.
It was just like, oh man, Jesus, like, really now? You tried, you tweeted that out now? Like, Christ.
Again, anytime Hilmar is paying too much attention to Eve, we should be afraid. Okay? Yeah. By the way, Kitchen, we know when the Hunagorn door is blown, you'll be back. That's no problem. You are all good, buddy. And we appreciate you hanging around for the show too. And we appreciate everybody in the audience, by the way. Thank you for watching the show. You know, and if you are enjoying the show, if you're not enjoying the show, don't do anything. Okay, just stay in audience, be quiet, don't say anything, please. Okay.
What we'll say is if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Okay.
What was it?
But if you like the show, and you know, for some reason our little every once in a while they'll put up a little, hey, fill out a survey. Ignore everybody else because you don't watch any other show. You only watch our show. Just give us all the accolades that you can in that little survey. I'm just saying. Oh my God, did it just show up? No, it didn't.
No, that was a social media one.
That's the social media one. Holy crap.
that would have been a bit too,
right? No.
That would have been a bit too sort of, you know.
No. We do appreciate all the feedback too, because it helps make a better show. Just so you guys know, I'm in the process. By the way, if anybody out there, you know, they have a company they like, I am currently interviewing companies to redo the show layout, right? Give us some new zingers, some new cool stuff. You know, just make it neater.
I've been wondering about like having some kind of like segue style kind of thing, you know.
Oh yeah. Or when Dirk starts the rant, I'm gonna push a button and like Dirk's rant definitely fly across the screen.
There definitely needs to be a ranting kind of thing that like pops up on the show, and there definitely needs to be like a Dawn Raya rule, like, you know, in effect. Like there needs to be some like either a banner that's going across, or there's like, I was thinking sort of some kind of neon light thing that's like flashing, saying like Dawn Raya rule in effect or something like that.
I want something during hockey season 2 with a flashing red light, like somebody scored a goal.
That might be pretty decent.
Just stupid fun things for the show, right?
Exactly. Like
somebody says something in chat will trigger something good, you know. Bridget, old Eve dinosaurs. I think that's me. That scares me.
I mean, there used to be ways of also getting removing your name off of the Super Capital and Titan login lists, right? Because like back in the day when you used to be able to actually add anybody to a list without them consenting to being on that list, people would essentially have lists of Titans and Supers that they had on their characters. And so when they obviously nowadays you have to consent for people to see that you've jumped online or not. Back in the day, you could just add somebody to a list, and if they jumped online, you would see that they jumped online. So when you had these lists active and you suddenly saw a bunch of people jumping online, like you knew that there was something going on, because there was basically a whole load of hostile capital super caps and Titan pilots are logging in, right? And you knew straight away.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you were able to get off of that list by essentially making your character, like by essentially having your character name, your Titan character name, be something really offensive, or in some way sort of, in some way, shape or form breaking some terms and conditions of CCP, CCPs or of the end user license agreement, right? And so essentially what you would do is you would have somebody report that name, right? And then CCP would come in and be like, you can't have that name. And you essentially you'd go, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it at the time, I was just being edgy, etc., etc. And then they'll go, okay, well, that's okay, we'll wipe the name and then make a new name, right? And when they wiped your name, you would become like Kaldari citizen, blah 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 blah, Amar citizen, blah blah blah, Minmatar citizen, blah blah blah, right? That's where you see those names, and that would wipe you off the lists. The login lists, and that's how you used to do that.
By the way, I have one of those characters. I have no idea what offensive name I used. I mean, it wasn't intentional.
Somebody,
right? I don't know.
Yeah.
By the way, it's a character I never logged in with. This was a character you'd log in, and I bet I know which one it was.
You never know.
I don't know. I have to check. It might have been bag drop, because it was a bank character, right? You only log in if you needed to move corporate funds around or something, right? That might have been bag drop, which was not offensive. It was not what you might think it is. Because I'm a golfer, it's where you drop off your golf bag. Drive up, drop your golf bag off, go park, right? It's called the bag drop. And that's what, and it was to drop money into for members of the court for certain things. So yeah, I think that was it. And it's now Calderi Citizen something. By the way, just going back up by the way, the Streamlabs link did come out. Yes, you. So if you're enjoying the show or enjoy the show generally, throw us some kind remarks out there. We'd appreciate that. So Bridget, don't worry about us mentioning that you thought maybe you're referring to us old people. It's okay. It's just all part of the fun of the show. We're cool with it. Okay.
So good.
we didn't think you were intentionally being mean. So please, but yeah, so in everybody, right? Thanks for being around and everything. So we do appreciate it. Yeah, and that's some good old tricks of Eve.
Good old tricks of Eve. Yeah. One of the tricks of Eve that I still remember, and I imagine it still works, is the true direction of people who are jumping, like jumping through a Titan, jumping on a capital ship to something. Like, you have the show route path in space thing, which actually shows the path of your autopilot that goes from one system all the way to another system to show up in space. Like that's an indication to show that in actual fact, the little points of light in the skybox actually correspond to actual, like, to where systems are in 3-dimensional space around where you are, where your system is, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And so when you see like a bunch of people jumping through a Titan, or you see a bunch of capitals or supers or whatever jump right to another system, and you see them zipping off, right? Like the red kind of thing, like lines zipping off. That is true in terms of like the direction of travel to their destination. So if you are able to manipulate the path in space to get to a close approximation as to where they're zipping off to, you can get a relative idea as to where they're actually going without knowing where they're going. Yeah, that's also something that I worked out.
Another question: Are there still pauses in space?
There are, yeah. Like they only do very, very, very particular jobs.
Wasn't it 18 years
I don't think you can drop out with them anymore, but I think the ones that are still there that aren't like dead, or that kind of thing, are still there's still some up.
Wasn't it about 18 years ago they said they were going to get rid of the pause code and all the pauses?
Yeah, but they didn't because the pause code is so spaghettied into all the rest of the code in Eve that they can't seem to be able to separate them out, right? It's like they're just trying to turn everything. They're trying to turn like the pause code off, but it seems to be like just so hard coded into everything else, like all the other legacy systems, because But
as a software guy, Eric, you should be able to appreciate that it can be a little bit tricky to sunset shit.
Not if the code's written properly. I mean, it isn't like
the code was written.
Wait a minute. It isn't like when Eve was written that we didn't proceduralize code and do isolation of code and things.
No, that but existed. Like not everybody did that. Like, especially
people who knew how to write shit did.
Oh yeah,
Jesus Christ!
But like strangely enough, CCP back in the day when they were making Eve, they were doing it fairly like nonchalantly.
No.
So,
what was that?
They were being very let's just get this out the door rather than let's follow proper coding etiquette kind of scenario.
there might have been something.
And there was also a thing that like the guy who wrote the POS code ended up getting hit by a truck or something. I don't know. Like
it was
So and he didn't. He didn't.
Well, it's also the fact
notarize
that when you're talking like really ancient EVE Online code, it's not very well documented and commented. And a lot of the comments from back then are all in Icelandic. That pretty much complicates things a little bit.
I talked to guys that I used to work with, right, in like 1991. And they're like, Eric, I ran across part of your code the other day. Why? Because even then we knew, comment all the code you change. Make sure you know from what line to what line you changed, why you changed it, the date you changed it, and which change request it was associated with in the system.
But that would have been like borderline adults and semi-professionals. We're talking the EVE coders, right? The EVE coders back then were a bunch of people that had only recently gotten rid of their sits and were basically soaking in alcohol while doing this thing and shipping it, right?
I'm just saying. I was just some stupid 21-year-old kid, and I could do it. I don't program anymore. That's a long lifetime
but
away.
to some degree, some aspects of what they did code were like artistry, like the way they generated the sort of the EVE universe and where all the sort of like like where all the systems are in 3D space and how they connect and all that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of artistry that goes into that. And to be fair, I'm just
gonna be really controversial and praise Hilma just for a second. Let's admit that Hilma is one of the dudes that actually did the main coding of the market system in EVE Online. Let me just continue.
Just copied
the fact that he coded that so long ago. And he made an actual proper exchange-like system. So like real markets work in a computer game that long ago, and that it still is fundamentally what is running in EVE today. It hasn't really been touched or fixed since then. And that no other gaming company in the world has made a proper functional fucking market yet.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it was hard. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's a fucking market. It's not hard.
I mean, he did admit that he did like basically almost copy an existing marketing UI structure and like systems.
But that's different.
Like
it
was legitimately it was a real marketing, like IRL marketing kind of like program and stuff like that. So like obviously it's going to work, and it's probably going to work for quite a while. But like. Yeah, they didn't touch it that much, and they haven't needed to.
Well, I'm just trying to point out that even though we can talk until the cows come home about the many flaws and mistakes that Hilma has made, the fact that he managed to create something like that long ago in that spaghetti code-like way, and that it still works today, and that no fucking gaming company has copied any of that or made a proper market in any game. It's like, it blows my mind. I do not understand how that's still a thing. Every single time there's a new MMO coming out, it's all the same auction house bullshit that does not work with an inflationary fucking asset creep economy, and it always fucking breaks. And everyone goes, oh, but the economy is not that important in the game. Well, did you notice that when it crashed, that's when all your players then started leaving?
I would say that some of the data kind of like keeping the like archiving data and keeping some of the data that's that the MERs are basically built upon, that's been a bit iffy. And you can't say that hasn't been a bit iffy.
Yeah, but I don't know that's a function of the actual code,
the actual system.
I don't know. That's the later addition, right? With the API tools and all the call functions and stuff. And remember, that was actually invented by the players. API codes are basically CCP's solution to the fact that players came up with all these weird ways of reading the memory and scraping the cache and collating and collecting all that information and putting it in centralized databases on a peer-to-peer basis, and all that extra perfect knowledge kind of started breaking the game a little bit, and all the stuff was breaking the EULA. So we are responsible for the API and all of that shenanigans.
Yeah,
but
they never came out
right?
the block. Yeah, they never came out the blocks going like, oh yeah, we're going to do a monthly economic report for all these for what's going on. In,
No, they don't. They didn't give us
India.
that stuff
Like,
willingly. They were strong armed.
By the way, I remember those market programs that could even buy and sell for you, right?
Yep.
And
Also the origin of the kill mails and all that stuff. That also comes from all that shenanigans back then, where you would basically scrape pick up all your mails and then centralize them, right?
I mean, I still think that kill mails give you too much information. Like, I think kill mails should give you a bunch of information, but like, I think you need to actually do the work to actually.
Well, the problem is
that
get something. Think about it, Mac. If you think about how and why, right? It gives you too much information. It's because when you are killed, the mail that it generates to you tells you what you have lost, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So of course, you have perfect knowledge because you were in the ship when it was killed. So that's not wrong. But if you then take that information and you peer-to-peer share it on a kill board, then the perfect information is not really CCP's fault. It's the system that the players base the kill mails on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
true.
So let's and when you look at EVE Online, right, and this is probably why it becomes so frustrating, right, to us and players in general. EVE Online has these very unique things that are done very well, better than we've seen them in other games, right? We can have more people fighting across systems than any other game, right? It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like the construction company that comes in and they do some work, but they're not craftsmen, right? What I can say about our art department, right? They can come in and they're craftsmen, right? We don't have the coders or the thought of the product that really makes some of these things craftsman oriented. And I don't mean that as a derogatory thing toward the developers, right? You don't, or the game people. That's I think that's a function of willingness to spend money to bring you here. Now, and by the way, I was out online, and I think I posted it in staff, right? I was one of the founding people on the original Dune Mush, if you guys remember Mush Code, Mud Code, all that stuff, right? And somehow I was selecting stuff for Dune 2, and I ran across this one player, and they were actually talking about something that actually happened, and it was me, right? Because we were all admin, right? And it was kind of cool. I'm like, wow, this is a blast from the past. This is really cool. I got to figure out how to, get a message to Chani, right? I don't know how to reach out to that individual, but saying, hey, I saw this. This was really cool. And I was Count Atlantic Pastron. She always used to call me Pastrami, right? House Pastrami is what we were in Dune, right? So it's kind of fun, kind of funny, right? But we took the Mush Code, not we. It was actually the guy who was, the top admin. He was doing work at, I think, UC Berkeley. We actually got Lehman Brothers to donate the Sun server back when they were pizza boxes. UC Berkeley agreed to put it online. It was actually a research project, I think, that the guy Paul Atreides was doing. But back then, you could only have 25 people online on an online game.
But you also have to remember that if you went back
to two more
sorry.
sentences, right?
Hang on.
So we could only have 25 people. Then he tweaked the code. We could have 50 concurrent users. And then we tweaked the code a little more. We got, I think, to 100. Okay. And for Mud and Mush Code to be able to have 100 people online at once, that was amazing, right? And that was back in the, late 80s, early 90 type area. And so think where we are now, just 30 years later, and Eve can have thousands, tens of thousands of people actually online in their cluster. Multiple thousands fighting. Complain about all the stuff.
Well, if you go back, right? If you could go back in a time machine to say the Blizzard Studios or CCP Studios, and you told their developers, guys, you need to be a little bit careful because people will still be playing your game in 20 or 25 years from now, right? They would have said, you are ridiculous. That is not going to happen.
So they'll be like, no, there's no reason or
no one will be playing this.
No one will be playing
20
this for
years.
This. There's no reason to be supporting it for even half that time. So like, what the fuck are you even talking about?
Well, back then we didn't really have any real experience with online gaming and how to really make them. There were very, very few proper online games. It was completely virgin territory, right?
Because didn't Hilmar say that like initially they were only really kind of thinking about like having this EVE Online product basically be supported for about 5 years as a game?
Yeah, something like that. I think most MMOs expected that. Whether you're talking about the EverQuest guys or the World of Warcraft guys or CCP, they did not expect these things to last that long. And one of the problems with something like online games is that it is extremely costly and difficult to change something or completely refurbish very old stuff because you've got all these dependencies and you're doing it on the fly. I think the big overhaul that Blizzard did to World of Warcraft was done like 10 years after launch, something like that, and they have a ton of money. They could have done these things properly and migrated and all that stuff. You can't do that when you're on a rock in the Polar Sea and have hardly any actual players, right?
Yeah,
stuff like that is costly, right? It got more and more difficult.
By the way, in the Bridget brought up multi-threaded again, one of my favorite topics, right? Right? By the way, you don't have to process exactly the way it was laid out there, right? You don't have to wait for all the data and process the chunk, right? 100%. You can process it multi-threaded much quicker, but the multi-threaded understands where the begin and end of the transaction is, right? So again, there are ways that the problem has been solved. In order to rate the engine for a game, it is many millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's the refactoring the game from one engine to an engine that is more capable. Is by the way, really expensive thing.
While this may have been solved from a millions of transactions and billions of transactions of data, right, at a time, and keeping it all in sync in the proper thing, right? The back channels it's a fundamental redesign of how a node leverages the memory available to it and decides how to do certain things with that data across multiple nodes.
And you never
and to all the critics, right?
It's hard.
When they poo-poo on Eve and the way it's coded and the way it's managed and all these things. When any other game company comes out with anything in the realm of, let's say, just 250 versus 250 people fighting without any issues or problems, call me and we can start having this discussion again, because CCP has really been the cream of the crop when it comes to doing this kind of stuff, and this is when you take all the other factors into play, right? One of the things that I think at least some proper coders will be able to appreciate is it's an exponential problem, because each time you add a single new player to that number, the number of variables and the dimensionalities requires, and the actual processes that needs to be done and handed out to everyone goes up and up and up, and it just becomes a completely impossible task.
It's exponential in the fact that, like, you know, if you have 20 people around, if you add one person to that 20 people, you know, in terms of fighting and stuff like that, like, what the actual calculation is for the server is, yeah, you may have only added one person, but now you've added 20 more calls to those people to say where that one person is and what that one person is doing. So you may have added one person, but it's not one person's worth of data. It's actually, you know, 20. You've added 20 more calls to the data set that needs to happen. And so when you start, like, getting into the numbers, you know, getting into the thousands and tens of, you know, there's several thousands. You know, one extra person is another 1,000, 2,000 calls that the server has to make and send over each time. So that's where
all that stuff to deal with as well.
Yeah.
By the way,
but that's where
one person comes with a whole bunch of drones.
That's where the exponential nature of it comes from. Yeah, exactly, and that's the other thing.
The drone problem was when they saw that problem first.
The drone problem and the drone problem, and if you've been a follower for the game for a long time, and especially in terms of, like, you know, how it's coded and stuff, you will know specifically about, like, all of the issues that CCP has had with optimizing missiles in the game, right? Like, the amount of times that they've had issues with, like, dealing with missiles and missile propagation, and like the amount of calls that the server has to make when people are misusing, you know, missile doctrines to missile spam, and the effects that has on the server. Like, you know, they've had to deal with that a lot. So
yeah, I think really for CCP's fault, well, I'd love to see them go, because it would be tremendous for the gaming industry, right? Everybody's seen Ready Player One. You want to do Ready Player One, you got to do parallelization of your processing, right? That sort of stuff. But I would really like to see them invest in the parallelization. The challenge that you have is,
I mean, they try to with some things,
the quality of the coder, right? Because that is a niche coding expert place. It really is, to the degree that they would need to do it, right? I think really things like, if you're in tie-dye, get everything into tie-dye and get tie-dye to actually work. Okay? Because I mean, I don't hate tie-dye because of what it lets me do. And it's a little bit of a badge of honor to say, I'm in a fight with 7,000 other people. Yes, I get 1 minute is like an hour, or whatever the hell the translation ends up being, right? And we are here for 18 hours fighting. Okay? By the way, I don't care how much you bitch and complain about that. You can't do that in any other game.
Yeah.
So, and
or at least the few games that, like, you may be able to potentially do that, like, it is so open to abuse and open to cheaters, because, like, not everything is checked by the server the way that CCP checks things happening on the, like, by players on the server, sort of thing. So, like, you know, there's a lot of games that basically play fast and loose with just trusting whatever the client's connection basically says is happening, and doesn't check it based on various different things. And that's why you get, like, those scenarios of people being able to wall hack, be able to fly around, be able to shoot, like, everybody, you know, everybody from wherever position they are in the most ludicrous kind of way. We've never dealt with because that. Yeah, and the thing is, like, you've like we
get free raw materials for 3 years.
I know you say that in jest, Eric, because you definitely. But, like, in Eve, it's extremely rare for that kind of thing to ever happen. Yeah, because the server checks everything, or practically everything, right? Like, anything of any notable worth, or anything that could potentially, you know, screw with the simulation, right? So, and that's one of the things that I will always praise CCP for, is to not trust the clients with just whatever the fuck they send over. They keep
One last thing.
Go ahead.
One last thing. Yeah, definitely one last thing. Because we need
one last thing.
Yeah.
All right, you go first, Caleb.
One last thing, Caleb.
My last thing would be that because you mentioned demonology and summoning and exorcisms and stuff, that new The Pope's Exorcist, don't watch it. It's terrible.
Okay.
Oh no, is that the one with Russell Crowe?
Yeah, it is. It is.
God.
He is doing a very decent job and speaking Italian and all that, and it's very, very cool. But the script is really bad.
Okay.
Caleb, time is up.
Time is up. We have to go.
I don't have a one last thing, so unless Eric, you have one last thing.
One last thing? I do.
I do in fact have one last thing.
Please.
Here's my one last thing. Caleb, Mac, you're all going to get murdered if you don't get over to Bad Posters.
See you guys.
Okay. We have Eurovision to do, so yeah.
Later, chat.
We'll be over there. My one last thing is, since Caleb mentioned a show, I'm going to say we just watched the first season of The Diplomat, and it was pretty good, but it's a little
Looking forward to
weird.
it.
Oh yeah, remember there's that thing later on INN.
Oh, we did that, but yeah, we'll talk about that again too.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit weird because the husband and wife have a little bit weird relationship. But the first time that he smells her armpit is just like, what just happened?
King shaming. No king shaming.
It wasn't about kink. It wasn't about kink.
Yeah.
You're just gonna look. Anyway, don't remember meta show it in an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after the meta show, that demonology, they're going to be playing that game.
They'll be playing.
And Dave Archer summons demons.
Yep. Dave Archer summoning demons and trying to oust them with magic, whatever.
Tell all your evangelist friends to come and yell at him.
Yeah, me too. We have 2 minutes. All right. But we're going to end it now.
That's all right. It's all good. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. We will see you next week. We appreciate everything. Thanks, folks. And we are out of here.
Yay! All right.
All right, we're clear. Go.
All right. I need to go somewhere.
I've hit the
restroom. I might get murdered.
Again. All right.
All right, man. Take care.